Hi, it's great to see you guys again. I am Troy at Banana English. Today, we are going to learn 3 different parts of grammatical speech in American English. And once you learn these little things, it will help you feel more fluent in your English. Alright, so the first thing I want to teach you is what a gerund is. I find it easier to learn new principles by going back to the basics and then adding new things from there. Every sentence in the English language, the proper English language, must contain a noun and a verb. You could literally walk around all day saying sentences with only 2 words, just like this. Timmy walks. Timmy runs. Timmy sleeps. In these examples, Timmy is the noun, which is a person, place, or thing, and the second word is the verb or action. The problem is that when you have sentences like this, you end up using the noun over and over again, which makes your speech very boring and repetitive. The other problem with this structure for our sentences is that it doesn't fit every scenario when we need to speak. Let's look at the sentence, Timmy walks. In this sentence, walks is a verb. What happens if the next sentence we want to talk about walking? For example, walking is fun. Well, this is where things get interesting. You can turn that verb walks into a noun by adding ing to the end of the word. Then pop it into a sentence and guess what? You've just created your first gerund. A gerund is a verb that you add ing to, then use as a noun in a sentence, like this. Walking is fun. Running is hard. Sleeping is good for your health. For practice, I'm going to give you some simple noun-verb sentences, then I want you to turn the verb into a noun and create a sentence. Jenny swims. You might say something like, swimming is fun. Richard cries. You might say something like, crying is sad. Barbie eats. You might say something like, eating is good. So you see, gerunds are simple to use in sentences, and they are very easy to create. Now, let's talk about infinitives. Again, going back to our basics, if every sentence is a simple noun or subject, which is a person, place, or thing, and has a verb, which is an action, and we went around speaking in 2-word sentences, they might go something like this. Jane loves. Jane believes. Jane wonders. But what happens when we make the verb the subject or noun again, and add to in front of it? For example, to love, to believe, to wonder. Guess what? You've just created an infinitive. An infinitive is any verb that you use as a noun that has to in front of it. But you will notice to love isn't a complete sentence, right? That's right. When you use an infinitive, you end up having to describe something with the rest of your sentence. So, let's look back at some examples. To love her work was Monica's dream. To believe in himself was Tyler's goal. To wonder about dinner was all he could do right now. This is where things get super confusing, because if a noun is a person, place, or thing, then they are simple. But when you have to start thinking about things as direct objects, it gets a little complicated. How I remember infinitives is simply by the trick if to is in front of the word, it's an infinitive. Let's practice infinitives like we did with gerunds. I will give you a simple noun plus verb sentence, then I want you to use that verb as an infinitive. Jill sees. You might say something like, to see a bird would make Jill happy. Carlton fumbles. You might say something like, to fumble was not Carlton's goal. Peter jumps. You might say something like, to jump higher than anyone else was Peter's hope. The simple difference between a gerund and an infinitive is that infinitives have the word to in front of them. Infinitives can also be verbs that are used as adverbs and adjectives, but if you see the word to in front of it, you'll recognize it as an infinitive. I hope everyone understands what we've learned so far. A gerund is a verb that has been turned into a noun and then had ing added to the end of it. An infinitive is a verb that is turned into a direct object noun with the word to in front of it. Hang on to that information because we still need to talk about participles. A participle is a verb that can be used as an adjective. An easier way to remember this might be to describe a participle as an action word that describes your noun or subject in the sentence. The black dog wagged his tail. The adjective in this sentence is black because it is describing our subject, the dog, but it is not a participial because black isn't an action word or a verb that we are using as an adjective. So let's try again. The jumping dog wagged his tail. In this sentence, the word jumping is an action that is describing the subject, dog, so we have used a participle. But wait, before you create a participle, you have to know if you are talking about something that is happening now, in the present, or if you are talking about something that happened a while ago, or in the past. There are two types of participles, so let's talk about present participles first. Present participles end in ing and describe a noun. For example, the smiling student turned in his homework. How is this different than a gerund? A gerund is a verb that is being used as a noun. A participial is a verb that is being used as an adjective. So, gerund example, smiling is fun. Participial example, the smiling dentist finished his work. Just remember that present participles end in ing but are being used to describe the noun. They aren't the noun. A past participial ends in d or ed. Remember, this is a verb that we use as an adjective to describe the noun doing something in the past. For example, the tired dentist went to bed late last night. There are some instances where you will find past participials that don't end in d or ed, and that is when the version of the verb's past tense doesn't end in d or ed. An example of this might be, the fallen rocks blocked our path. The adjective fallen is a past participial that doesn't end in d or ed because the past tense version of the verb fall is fallen. All right, now we need to practice being able to point out whether words in a sentence are gerunds, infinitives, or participles. I'm going to give you a sentence, and you are going to tell me whether the word is a gerund, infinitive, or participle. 1. Swimming is good exercise. Gerund. 2. Economics is an expanding field of study. Participle. 3. We drove to the mall to buy our new surround sound system. Infinitive. 4. Breaking the light barrier is not possible. Gerund. 5. Overwhelmed by the menu choices, I just pointed at something with my finger. Participle. 6. They have closed the cafeteria to repair a broken table. Infinitive. 7. Passing this quiz with a good grade would make me happy. Gerund. 8. I always enjoy watching a meteor shower. Gerund. 9. Running is not the solution. Gerund. 10. Barking is what dogs do. Gerund. Let's look at some ways that gerunds, infinitives, and participles that are used in idioms tell me what the sentence means and whether we are looking at a gerund, infinitive, or participial. 1. They are getting along with each other. This sentence means having a good relationship with someone. Getting is being used as a present participial. 2. Keep hanging in there. This sentence means don't give up. Hanging is being used as a gerund. 3. We need to see eye to eye. This sentence means two people agreeing. To see is an infinitive. Yeah, that's it for today. Have you guys learned a lot with me? Of course, you must have, because all the teachers at Banana English try our best for you. Great job, guys. In the next video, we will learn the 12 basic English tenses together. See you soon!